Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, August the 18th. This is our third week of back to school. Well, no, it's second week. Things have been going. It's been a bit much, but this is our first full week of back to school. And we want to start off with access denied by thanking the parents. Go ahead and jump on, share this out, like the page, let us know you on here. I see we got 4 people that are jumping on right now.
John, what you say? It's the third year of school.
Man, I'm telling you, we dealt with Lil John. He was self quarantined since last Wednesday. When I picked him up off the bus, one, he rode the bus. Then yeah, and then we just been hanging out. And last night at about midnight, we got the message from Walgreens that his test came back. So it's been a separating babies and kids for a week, wearing masks in the house.
Man, y'all over there like this.
Yep.
Y'all over there like this at the kitchen table.
Come on now. Well, John told me it's about the science. So I was like, all right, man, like do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Yep.
See, we got Olivia checking in, and we got Miss Wilson checking in. Thank you guys for jumping on. Got a lot to talk about today. As you guys are sharing it out, we're going to talk about, the second week of school. We're really going to dig into issues versus problems. With that, we're going to talk about the TN Ready test, which is the issue and a lot of problems that we see going around the district with smoke screens. But today, we really want you guys to chime in as well, because we want to hear from you guys. Who better to hear from than parents who have kids in the school right now and talking about everything that's going on. Give a quick shout out to the parents who jumped on our campaign call last night. It was amazing to look back 30 days ago and watch what we were able to accomplish from July. And so as we look into August and September, definitely excited, but thank you guys for jumping on. I'll give you guys a special shout out later on in the show, but just wanted to tell you guys thank you on a Tuesday night, hanging out with your Propel people.
Man, last night was so freaking amazing to me. Them parents set a goal for organizing 300 parents this week. And that's just priceless, man. Like, that's when you see Black parents get together and decide that, they gonna have a voice. It's freaking amazing. I went to bed last night on cloud 9. I didn't need no wine.
Come on now.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. And one of the things that we went over that a lot of them didn't know, we talked about being in the Tennessean, but really the front page. And I think those parents, it came out on August the 8th, and thank you to the Tennessean for highlighting the story. They actually came in where we were doing a campaign meeting where we were calling parents and educating them in one of the churches, and just for them to see the actual paper and see that the work that we were doing is not going in vain. I could tell it. They had to take a step back and really celebrate that. And so a big part of that also is guys on Access Denied, you guys coming on here, chiming in, giving feedback, giving your opinions, because it helps us to make sure that we're not living in a box, and we are trying to address the issues that are most important to parents.
Yep. And I mean, that's what the show is about, right? The show is about talking about the issues that parents and grandparents care about the most. Those parents are parents and grandparents who represent our most struggling communities. And, we're following our mission, and we are headed towards our vision. So got a lot of work to do.
Got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of work to do. It's a lot of shenanigans going on. A lot of shenanigans, a lot of sad things, and a lot of unfortunate things that are going on in the landscape of education and just in our community. So
yeah, and just to start off, like I'll start off with just as we think about the issues and the problems. So one of the big things that I've realized, and I would love just feedback from parents who are watching. Have you guys gotten your TN Ready scores from the school or been able to look them up online? It kind of not even amazing. It made me take a step back when out of all the parents, only one parent spoke up and said they had seen the scores from TN Ready. And these scores have been released. I remember when I was in school, they used to send it home in the piece of paper. It was folded up and it just had your TCAP scores. And you know, my mom had to sign it. And so for it to be second week of school, and we've been having the scores for a while, maybe they're going to send them out in a couple of weeks. But I think that's important for parents to pay attention to make sure that you are getting those TN ready and you're actually able to look at your children's scores and go over it and follow up with the school if need be.
why come they ain't in the damn dashboard?
Right. And another thing, I think with the dashboard, so we've been doing one-on-ones this week, and the thing we've been showing is kind of identifying with that Fox 17 story. I think the reporter was Erica Glover. And she went, you know, she interviewed you, she interviewed the district, and just talking about the different plans. And, you know, once we finish our one-on-ones, we asked them, have they seen the personalized student dashboard? Have they been given help, instructions, and also have they received or been given instructions about high dosage tutoring? And it hasn't been happening. And so it's been a wait and see, to wait and see when are the results going to be there, and like when is the support from the dashboard that they can have access to so they can see.
I'm gonna ask again. Where is the dashboard? I ain't caring about nothing else. Y'all said we're gonna have dashboard with stuff anyway, is it?
It is, yeah.
It's live, right?
Yeah, it is.
But it's still an FBI hidden secret.
So, and not necessarily going over an article right now, but really just taking a look at the headlines that are going across newspapers, whether it be local or state newspapers. And it's going to be interesting. I want to dig into this and really get you guys' opinion when we go over issues versus problems. And so as I was browsing the Tennessean, I was like, okay, like I see what the news coverage is on, but what does this really mean when we think about learning loss in the future of our kids? And so I'm going to let me pull this up. Let me take that off. So as you guys see, and we're going down, you see what is definitely dominating. You know, it talks a little bit about TSU, but it talks about the DA won't prosecute anyone for violating the mask order. Talks about Williamson County plan to use 5.2 in federal corona release. It talks about good news or reckless, leaders react to Lee's mask opt-out order. Metal detectors at the Williamson County School Board meeting. How do anti-mask arguments stack up against science and law? More than 1,000 MNPS students and teachers quarantined. And then teens discuss the impact of critical race theory. A county divided, lieutenant government. So as you see this, Sonia, what are some of the things that are going through your head when you see a lot of the headlines that are coming out?
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Stopgap solutions, meaning temporary solutions that don't mean anything. I see politics before children. I see pissing contests, who can piss the furthest, and go to court. But most of all, I see children again with learning loss that's going to catapult the word catastrophe. and I see it happening fast. And I also see people that are going to have to answer to God, because I just cannot believe. I cannot, y'all, the bunny is jumping on my leg. I'm sorry. That's why I'm distracted. I cannot believe that people are so heartless right now on all levels.
Yeah. And I think Shamice, good morning, Shamice. Shamice has a tutoring organization, and she says politics over our children. And I think what we have seen with the back and forth, it's been politics. It's been politics around who wants to, who needs to. When we think about the mask, it's been politics around, they talk about this CRT, which dominated the last month. And then before that, it was like, do we go back to school or not? And all of these, and before I jump into, and I see Miss Compton on there. We missed you last night, Miss Compton, but thank you for jumping on. But what to you guys, Shamice, Miss Moffin, Miss Compton, Jordan, Christine, Ivory, what is the difference to you between issues and problems? What's some education issues, and then what are some education problems? Ms. Moffin says, I see them patting us on our heads while kicking us in the butts with laws and mandates.
Mm-hmm. I thought about something earlier. I'm a thinker. I'm a process mind. And so I start putting stuff together in my brain with my neurodiverse brain. Yes, I have a learning disability, but I think I have an IQ that's out this world sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I believe that there's genius in everybody. So I started processing all this mess while we're waiting for answers from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about what civil rights leader Kwame said in Disrupt, Dismantle, when he was talking about what happened on Jefferson Street, how in the civil rights movement, they were sitting at the lunch counters and fighting and standing up and organizing and mobilizing. And so then we got the opportunity to shop in the same places,
mm-hmm.
other people and all those things. But then they turned around and attacked our social economic status.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take y'all back to something. So over the last few years, there's been this argument about like the Nathan Bus statue.
Right.
All across the country, all of these Confederate generals taking the statues out of these buildings, therefore really like eliminating that piece of history. We had an I got you moment. So because of that, they said we're going to come up with CRT and eliminate Black history, or Black. It's talking about the truths about what happened to Black people, which is American history. I'm sorry.
Right.
Schools. This is all a rebuttal, guys. If you don't see that, I see it. So if you take away our Confederate history, then we won't allow you to talk about what has truthfully happened to Black people in schools. And then now it's like, now there's this whole Democratic Republican fight to me.
Yeah.
That says, well, if people don't want to wear masks, then they don't have to.
Mm-hmm. They came down, 48 hours ago, 3:15, turning up on a Monday, not a Tuesday.
Do you see any connection between all this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just wondering if I was crazy, but sometimes I think about stuff late at night, and I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here, and children are getting caught in the crossfire of all of this stuff. So you got parties fighting, and you got black versus, you know, white in a way fighting. And somebody might say, well, I don't, a lot of white people want to wear masks or don't want to wear masks. A lot of black people want to wear masks and don't want to wear masks. But as you can see, that the fighting is not going between people on the ground. The fight is happening and at the political level. They're not asking black people, do they want to wear masks or not? They're not, I don't really even think that they're asking that many white people if they want to wear masks. I think that this is truly turned into a small group of privileged people who are starting this fight. And I also think it has something to do with possibly vouchers.
But unpack that, Sonia, because I see where you're going. But when we talk about issues, problems, and smoke screens, like break that down a little bit.
So all of these are problems, right? Not wearing a mask is a problem. COVID-19 essentially is a problem. Going to court about masks, putting mandates about masks, having the option whether to wear a mask or not, those are all problems. And problems can grow, right? Like, I'll put it to you in terms of the human body. You can have a problem that causes your whole system to fail. Like, multiple problems can happen. Like, you can get cancer, and then you go on to renal failure, liver failure, or diabetes. You start having these multi-system failures because of all the different problems that one thing is causing. The real issue in education is not all children are receiving an equitable education. Whether our children got on a mask or not.
Come on now, break it down.
I am a child, and I am in a classroom, and I got on a mask. Or whether I'm a child who's in a classroom that does not have on a mask. Whether I'm a child behind a computer, virtual, if I'm hybrid, whether I'm a child in person in school, I still have the right to be taught how to read. I still have the right to learn. And so we got all these problems going on, and all these different fights, and all these different battles. The real war is children are not being educated, period.
Yeah. And that's a real good point you make, right? Like, and that's why I call it the smoke screen. Because right now, a lot of people are deciding, like, what side of the fence do I stand on? Am I on the east side for the mask, or am I on the west side for the no mask? And meanwhile, the meeting last night that we had with parents, none of the parents had seen the TN Ready scores. When we looked at the state TN Ready scores, we always know Metro historically has been lower, but no one is talking about that because we are having to make decisions. Which side of the fence do you stand on? Are you vaccinated, which is important, but do you think the children should wear a mask? But they're not talking about the issue. Once this smoke clears, right, And the vaccination, I think it's going to be just like the flu. You might have to get it every year, get a booster shot every other year. But what happens to all the kids who were caught in the crossfire during COVID, who did not get a chance to learn on grade level, who are now behind, who are now going into elementary, middle school, and high school, or even graduating, and they don't have the skills? Will the city stop building? Will the city slow down for kids to catch up with the demand?
The fact of the matter is, we are in the second week of school, and do you know there are children that have already missed the quota number of days in absenteeism from being quarantined,
Right here.
or being infected with COVID-19?
Mm-hmm.
This is some data that our own state, that our own federal government requires to be collected about absenteeism. Absenteeism. If you're not in front of a teacher, you're not in school.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's what people on the Hill done wrote. See, I think all of them eating crow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with everything on either side, but they're all eating crow. Because we have one part saying, I want them in school.
Right.
The other part, of that is, and they can't be virtual and they got to be in buildings. And the other part is saying, well, we can't because of all the restrictions and because of COVID-19 and because we've never educated them in the first place. We still can't do nothing. I mean, it's all just a pissing contest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, Mary Kay Barnes says equity, that is exactly the problem, but it is health equity as well. Shami says the problem is our kids are failing to understand and they're being pushed to the next criteria before fully understanding the previous to meet the test scores.
But that's not new.
Mm-hmm.
That's not new.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Get off my sofa, Bunny.
Yep.
Wait a minute, y'all.
Okay. Renita says, nope, they will not slow down. As we have seen over the last 10 years, you can have communities like the Cowan Street where Top Golf is. It looked run down, but it's about to be up and jumping. Ms. Huff says, because that's the only way they could get paid per each child to have them be in attendance. So she talks about a money thing. And when they're doing virtual, they were not in person. So they were threatened to lose their funding if they don't get kids back in the building.
Because if they're not in the classroom, they're not really in the classroom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But then you got people saying, no mask. They got to go to school. I know it's COVID-19 cases.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's getting bad. But if they don't go, then you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a pissing contest. It's like our government tells us what to do, except when they don't want to tell us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And then you got people in the crossfire. So right now we got the local government fighting with the state government. And in the meanwhile, you know what kids do. Like when my parents were divorcing, I mean, I'll be honest, I knew that I could get over. I knew if I said something to one parent, it would make the other parent mad. And when I think about these TN Ready scores and really think about the learning, like we're losing. Like right now in Williamson County, they acting a fool over the mask, but at the end of the day, their kids are learning, right? Like it shows year after year. Here we are trying to do the same thing. We can't do what they do. Like our focus has to be on our kids.
I tell you one thing. I ain't never seen such an unholy mess in my life.
Mm.
And the kids are losing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just an adult problem. It's everybody's problem.
Let me tell you what one kid told the school. The parents sent me the email. He said, Governor Lee said, I don't got to wear a mask. And he the governor. How you going? So the kids are now learning what's going on. So they taking advantage of it. Said Governor Lee said, I don't got to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm. He basically did.
Yep.
He did.
Mm-hmm. But let me take it on a turn right now, guys. What and Miss Huff, thank you for jumping on. I see Miss Bridgeforth, Miss Booker. What's the most important thing to you now as you think about school for your kids? Like let's center it on the things that we care most about, not the things that they want us to care about. Right now, whether it's your kids or your grandkids or your nieces and nephews, what is the most important thing that you do care about right now that you want us to be focused on as a school district? And Sonia, as we're getting them, as you think about it for your own household, like what should we be focused on?
I always focus on the safety and well-being of my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it is inclusive of
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they're educated.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot focus on safety and well-being without having that full triangle, right?
Okay.
Of it including the education, because when they're not educated, our children die.
Mm-hmm.
They die physical death, they
Mm-hmm.
can die socioeconomic death, and they can die of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no separating those things for me. I just don't believe the adults are modeling very well for children.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a child that emails you something like that, it's in their nature, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I did it,
Come on now.
That's in their nature, but I am the adult. I mean, the law says that the parents have the voice of the child until they're 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it is my duty to make sure that the safety and well-being is protected of my child, but it's also my duty to fight those who are causing the inequities in education for him. So, as I think about this, it's all or none
Come on.
for my kids, and I worry about all the above.
Mm-hmm.
What I know is other people don't care. That's
Yeah.
what I think. I think that people genuinely don't care about others in
Mm-hmm.
this world.
Yeah. And what I hear you saying, and I think Laura says smokescreen is a good term. Don't focus on masks and vaccines. Focus on scores and what's being taught. I met Ms. Rutherford in a cafeteria at a PTO meeting, and she was a big supporter of the school, but she said the school was not at what she needed for her son, and she left. And so what I hear you saying, Sonia, we want our cake and we want to eat it too. We don't want to have to choose between, is it about the mask and the vaccines, or you got to choose education? Like, we should be able to have both.
Can I tell you something? Can I be real?
Mm-hmm.
You know what people tend to do? I'm talking about elected officials. I'm talking about people. They will focus on stuff they can't fix or they can't control.
Yep.
And what they're all showing me, Sonia Thomas, Sonia the mom, they are incapable of educating our children. See, that's why they don't ever talk about it. How can you hold harmless accountability data and 14% literacy scores, but hold accountable for making people wear masks? Make it all make sense.
Say it. I wish I can hit rewind, but say it again.
How does one hold harmless accountability scores, meaning a 14% literacy score, hold harmless, and I'm gonna give you more money for your bullshit that you dishing out, and hold people accountable for not, for making people wear masks. They ain't even taking school districts to court for not educating our children, but you're gonna take somebody to court about an optional mask mandate. Come on, man. Who y'all really talking to? Because I see your true colors, young blood.
Last week I asked some parents what the budget is. Somebody said 100,000. Because I said, why do you say? They was like, we don't see the value. The school district always saying we don't have the money to educate the kids. And so, yeah, we don't think the school district has money. But as we see, like the games right now, and as I look at parents, let me just read this down. Like, so we asked the question, if you're just tuning in, what's your focus for your kids this school year? And Cheryl Huff says, getting an equal education, better classrooms and material like books that they need to help educate our children, because they're talking about taking math out of school, taking reading out of school, and they don't have to have this to graduate, and they're dumbing our kids down. Laura says smoke screen is a good term. Don't focus on masks and vaccines. Focus on the scores and what is being taught. Joyce says closing the gap of learning loss safely and swiftly for our children. And Ms. Bridgeforth says, my focus for my son is that he learns something each day when he attends school. It's hurtful that all the kids are taught the same way, and that is not learning. Come on now.
How does one? I think this might be the media calling me. I might have said something. If y'all listening, just wait. I'm on the live.
Yeah.
But I'm not understanding. You know what? Stuff got to make dollars, cents, and sense to me.
Yeah.
Those of us from the hood, you understand what I'm saying? It's just got to make sense to me. So I'm sitting back looking at everybody. I even got a piece of paper, y'all, and I wrote down columns. Because some stuff you got to write it down. Like, but y'all just said this. Now you doing this. Like, none of it makes sense. And absolutely none of it includes ensuring that children are safe, secure, and educated. None of it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do all three of them things,
the triangle,
you ain't doing nothing.
Yep. The triangle.
The government institutions, the only institutions I know get more money for not doing shit. Quote me.
Yep. I mean, have we ever been to the DMV to get your driver's license? It's the most slowest place that you're going to go. You already got to calculate. You're going to wait the whole day. And what can you do about it? You can mean mug. You can cuss. But at the end of the day, they're going to say A13. An hour later, they're going to say A14. And it's been that way for a long time. Because they ain't got to do it. Why are they going to rush? What we rushing for?
They can say they're going to do something and never have to do it. But I'm going to say this one more time. Repeat they por favor. Government institutions, the only institution I know still get paid, make money for not doing nothing. And look, and do less and get more money. Y'all know how rich I'd be. Jesus, I wish that applied to me. I would go lay in that bed and not do nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I always tell people, think about this. What could you do with $1 billion, sign your 1.1 billion? And then let's say the next year, it doesn't go down if you don't perform. It stays the same or it goes up. But you get $1 billion the other year. And then year 3, you get $1 billion. Year 4, you get $1 billion. Year 5, you get $1 billion. Like what you rushing for?
Okay, so let me tell you what I would do if I was a superintendent, if I was in a governing board. If I had that type of power, first of all, I would not have anybody in my school district that does not do right by children. All y'all be fired. Number one, we would be fiscally accountable for every cent to make sure that it goes towards every dollar. See, when you educate, this is about customer service, right? So if I go to Publix, right, I get excellent customer service when I go there.
Oh yeah.
They gon' how you doing today? They gonna pack your groceries up. Shoot, they gonna damn near wash your car. Don't go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, they offer to come clean your house. That's customer service.
With the line in the street, they said we moving and grooving.
That's right. You're getting at and above what you pay for. I would demand that. I would have high expectations for every educator, every student. And I would have parent partnership. There wouldn't be anything. See, y'all don't even know about your children's TCAP scores. And we got a whole dashboard with lights and sirens, and y'all don't even know about it or even know how to access it.
Right.
I would make sure that every parent, every teacher, everyone is on one accord. We would be fiscally smart. We wouldn't be going to get new phone systems, and you better not come in the building with a new suit on and you got low performing schools. Number one. Number two, I would have priorities, goals, and I would present the outcomes of those goals. See, if you keep the goals and the outcomes in front of every single person in the district, this is here where we are, this is where we're going to go, then everybody knows where to work towards. The problem in school districts today, nobody knows jack except that the house is on fire. And so then we try to put the fire out with a cup of water instead of using all the water that we need. That's parents, that's educators, it's everybody. Everybody knows the plan to put out the fire. And everybody knows the goal. Okay, we're going to start here and we're going to put out this part of the 3-alarm fire by this date. And this is where we're going to get students by this date. If we've got a 14% literacy rate, here are the programs that we have. We have Literacy Reimagined in 360. I would have expectations that every school raise the literacy scores at least by 10% in the next 3 months. And we're going to know how to work there to get there. That's what I would do. I would make sure that every child is taught how to read. And just like when you go in Publix, you're guaranteed, or you go to Chick-fil-A, all y'all know about Chick-fil-A, baby, you guaranteed get out of that line. And you guaranteed for your food to be hot. And baby, they're going to offer you them sauces and them napkins. You know the expectations when you get up to that window. And if I was a school district and I had 1.1 $1 billion and $276 million and $24 million and countless access to other grants. I would be setting my goals, providing outcomes to everybody and letting everybody know where we are. But right now, most school districts, like we got these Tennessee Ready scores and MAP scores that they already knew about. Nobody has told us what the goal is, even for the school, let alone for each individual child. So if you're in a priority school and you got a 14% math or literacy score as a school, and you have a plan, you actually have a plan to increase academic achievement, then you would be able to provide us this school by this, this should happen by for this school by X date. And this is the percentage. We're not hearing that. That's why I know all y'all playing. And until you provide that, you playing. You playing with parents. You playing with philanthropists. You playing with the government. You are playing Russian roulette with children's lives.
Yeah. And I would even say at this point, like, it's not even Russian roulette anymore. It's just, it's the death squad. So I'm just,
firing squad. It's just a firing squad. You have a bullet in the gun, and you just gonna shoot them.
Yeah. Like, and that's what's happening every day. You know, we fighting against systemic racism. And so we talk about the Criminal Justice Center. We talk about 37208. But I think what's going under the radar, what I know what's going under the radar is how they even get there in the first place. Like, how does one get caught up in the criminal justice system? And it's so easy. The strategy is to make sure they don't have an education. It's rare. It's rare that a kid goes down a rabbit hole with the criminal justice center system with a college degree.
Man, look, y'all know I don't care. Man, we got juvenile court calling us to ask us to help them with their parents. Because the school system ain't listening to them. And we're like, well, we know they don't listen to them. They don't listen to nobody. Like, we got all this stuff, all this money. Don't nobody even know where y'all going. Nobody knows where they're going except to hell in the handbasket because there's really not a plan. There's just pretty PowerPoints and words and PR and presentations in front of people who are already privileged. There's just words saying this is what we gonna say, but we really, like, year after year ain't really gotta produce nothing, because all we gonna say is the problem is we don't have enough, or we just gonna keep making excuses.
So Candace, and welcome back, Candace. Candace says the principal of my son's school said they ain't even looking at last year's scores at all. Like, what he's saying, we just gonna keep it moving. They're gonna start fresh with MAP scores. And then Renita says the district no longer.
Wait a minute, stop right there. See, I know y'all looking, dear Dr. Battle. Did you just hear that bullshit? Nothing gets from the district office to these schools. This is what parents are being told. And they ain't lying. Right. They're not lying on them.
Right.
Go to the next one, John.
Renita says the district no longer accepts that they are in a service role that flows down to administrators, educators, and the support staff. It is horrible. And so it kind of feeds into what you just said with it starts at the top. Blanco, first time, I ain't seen Blanco on here. Miss Cross, come through with focusing on the customer service experience, feedback, and outputs. And then
wait a minute, let's stop there. But don't just ask me for my input and my feedback, knowing that you ain't gonna even take it and use it. Come on now, Miss Cross. I hear you, sis.
Ms. Rutherford says, sweeping it under the rug. Somebody's
time to pull the rug. Time to pull the rug back.
Yep, the rug dirty.
The rug is funky.
And then Candace, we got told that mess at orientation, meet the teacher day.
Girl, call me. Let's roll up there.
Mm-hmm.
Candace, I'm for real. What, like, inbox us. I think it's time for Freedom Friday, John.
Yep.
Candace, can we go set them kids free over there?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, so it's we got work to do. Marnisha, thanks for coming out last night. Marnisha, she says it's straight BS. Just shrug it off and move along. We are not about to keep playing about these kids and their future.
What she said again? We're not gonna what?
We're not about to keep playing about these kids and their future.
Say it again, John.
We ain't about to keep playing about these kids and their future. Game is over. Game is over.
Time's up.
Yep.
Hey, Kaka. So we also want to welcome to the show today our co-host Carson Little.
They call you, man. You can't be crying.
Hello, Carson.
Oh,
I see the genius in you. Hello, my genius. How are you doing? We are fighting every day so that you have the world-class education that you need, you deserve, and baby Gigi said you gonna get it. You know how we roll, Kaka. You know I ain't had it. Ever since I met you, I told you, I promised you, and you already know that Gigi and Daddy and all of us gonna come through. So we gonna celebrate. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for the victory already, Kaka. Thank you for your co-hostship, Kaka.
He said it's all I wanted to hear. I don't need to cry no more.
He got to hear his Gigi.
But Candace comes back, they may retaliate against our kids. Like we know it's coming. We know it's coming, but we gotta hold them accountable. Right?
John, can I give them the scenario? So, do we think they care? No, we don't think they care. So if one of y'all go in there and fighting for your kids, do you think they care? No. They're gonna take you.
Oh, they're gonna rip it up to pieces.
And they're gonna rip you. They're gonna rip you apart. Right? And so 5 or 6 of y'all go in there. Do they care? They're gonna rip you apart. Look, it's it got a little bit harder to rip apart with 5 sheets. So 58 of y'all go in there. Wait a minute.
Gotta get your grip right.
Do they care? Oh, I think they start to care a little bit to get a little harder. Get a little harder when 58 parents come in there fighting on behalf of the children. It gets a little harder. But baby, with enough of us that can't tear us apart. And I wonder did they start to care a little bit more. So Candace, you can't go in there by yourself. Let's roll up on Friday. Let's roll up. That's why we need this movement. Because they're gonna, that's just what how the system is. One of you, 6 of them in your IEP meeting, your S-team meetings, when you got a problem, and even when you have people that may not have the knowledge or the understanding of what's going on, like in the orientation, right? I think if parents knew their rights, if they understood, I don't think that they would have gone for, we're not going to look at the MAP assessments from last year. And so that is why we have to build a movement of parents. That is why we're developing parents. Building knowledge. You're already powerful. You're showing up. You're what they call engaging. You all are doing all of that. What we have is a system that is built to protect itself. And so they can get away with telling you bullshit like we're not going to look at the map scores or the Tennessee Ready. We're not going to do that. We're going to, we're just going to make it up as we go. And that's unacceptable.
Yeah. Shamice comes through. What happens on Friday and what time? Please let me know. Freedom Friday.
Freedom Friday. We're going to set some people free. Set them free. Set them free. Set them free.
And I'll tell you what we were doing before the pandemic stopped it. Freedom Fridays was really going to priority schools, which are schools operating in the bottom 5%, and really trying to understand what was going on by being in the school, listening to the parents as they were dropping off their kids, listening to the students as they were getting ready to go to class, and having a meeting with the principal as we listened to the feedback. And, at one school, it went well. The principal was late. They was like, oh, she always late. And we got a chance to meet, but she was open to partnership. But we went to one school, and the principal started blaming it on the parents. She said if the parents weren't so lazy, and what happened?
She said some of them ain't got no daddy, and invited you because that's what pissed me off. No, wait a minute, let's get this story straight. Because I ain't gonna tell no untruths on the lady. We went in there. We was not. Wait a minute, John. Can I reel it back?
Yep.
No, we went into that school. The receptionist was the sweetest receptionist I'd ever seen. She was so good to them kids. She knew each and every one of those kids by name.
Yep.
Some of them had been out from being sick. She was the most caring. I mean, I was over there like, oh, I want to be my receptionist. Like,
and the children were lighting up because they felt cared about.
They felt cared about, right? So let's fast forward. I don't know what the hell happened between the reception desk and the principal desk. We went back, and it was just to meet her, to tell her about our group. It was nothing about being disgruntled. We did have some parents that were having issues. We were there to talk about them and work with her in a nice way. And she says, well, the problem is a lot of these kids ain't got no daddy. And I ran back. Y'all know I'm crazy. I said, and John, John being John, he was like, and she said, so no. John asked, what can we do to support the school? That was the first question.
Yep.
He said, well, a lot of kids don't have no daddy, so you can come eat lunch with them. I said, what you say? She said, a lot of kids ain't got no dad, and the parents, they don't know no better.
Yep. She just kept digging.
I said, what the hell you say? I said, you mean to tell me that you are blaming stuff like kids pissing on other kids and bullying kids?
We had heard that kid got peed on.
Low test scores and lack of leadership on a kid that can't help that his dad is not around, which is beside the point. That's a problem. That ain't the issue. When they come to that building, they should be taught how to read. Whether they got a daddy or not, because some of them have lost their daddy. And they can't help that. Y'all, we went through there like X-Men. It was a small area. I started to knock everything off their desk. And I didn't. But that's the kind of leadership that was in a school. Low expectations. And she's still a principal in the school.
And I'll tell you, just in that cluster, you start there, you go to the middle school, it's a priority school, and then you get to the high school, it's a priority school, and it's been no foundation. And so really, like, what if the principal doesn't believe that all kids can learn and get a high quality education? Somebody said it earlier, it goes from the principal to the teachers to the support staff.
Look, those children, when we walked into that office, those children had their backpacks on their back.
Oh yeah, I was smiling.
Hi, Miss So and So.
Yeah.
This is about low expectations.
Yep. I said, maybe we not at the right place. Listening to the front desk person, I was like, this lady is like on it. I was like, maybe we got it wrong. Maybe this not the place for Freedom Friday.
It was, I mean, me and John was touched. We was like, oh, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah. I hope she's still there.
Yeah. And this is the front desk person.
She was the front, and she was sweet. Y'all, just the sweet to them kids, knew them. Oh, I love when someone works in the school and they're like that. But that principal, and not all principals are like that, right? We're just giving you a snapshot of
what happened on a Freedom Friday.
What happened on a Freedom Friday, but also let's look at the issue. So that was a problem, right? That was a problem. The issue is the low expectations. You cannot lead in a school and have a bit of low expectations. And the only thing that I hear from this total school district is what they can't do. That's all they talk about. We can't do this. We can't do that. We're unable to do that. We're unable to do this. We don't have this and we don't have that. And it shows. I believe them. I believe them. When they tell me that, I look at them. When they say, you know, we can't do that, I'll be like, no, you can't. We're unable to do this. Yeah, you really can't. We trying. Then I say to myself, trying is lying. We doing the best we can. That means it ain't good enough.
Oh yeah. That means you ain't willing to go any further.
No further. Low expectations. I don't know how we got on this, but it showed us the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And Candace, and I know Jarvis is talking about an issue at his son's high school, but Candace says we got to change the culture of the schools. And this is what we're going to end on. Like, we cannot do this work alone. Like, you guys as parents, Cheryl, I've been watching Cheryl advocate and fight for over a decade now. And she's successful, right? But we can't change a whole system by ourselves. We can change a problem like the bus late, and we go up and we talk and we do the things that we need, and they're gonna get the bus right, or the lunch suck. We were seeing those pictures coming out about school lunch. But the issue, if they go through and get great bus transportation, phenomenal school lunch, pats on the back, but they walk out of there and can't read, we ain't done anything but babysit. And we set that kid up for a long life of hardship.
Yeah, Raymond said the old saying goes, what matter will manifest. It's clear that our kids don't matter. And you are absolutely right. In the way to make sure that we make sure they matter is to grow our movement. We have made so much progress. We're building so much power and parent voice. And I'm proud of each and every one of y'all. But I want to tell y'all something that I told the parents last night. What is keeping me awake at night is the next 3 weeks. I'm very worried about it. To be honest, I'm just going to be vulnerable. I probably look a little stressed, and I am. I have been laying in the bed the last 24 hours at night asking God to please save these children. I am a visionary, and what I have seen is kids who are already out of school in the first week of school who are missing and who have missed a year of school already, y'all, with people who say that they can't. Why should I have faith in folk that say that they're already saying they can't? And if our kids continue to be out of school, whether they're exposed or they get sick. I mean, I was on the phone with a parent this morning with a sick child with a fever from COVID. The child is missing school. These kids cannot lose another semester, y'all. I don't. What else do I need to say? Like sometimes the only way for me to express myself is to curse because I don't know what else to do. These kids cannot lose. White, black, green, yellow, Asian. They can't lose another 3 weeks of school. We cannot keep having this rat race. And so the question is, what are we going to do about it? Starting next week, on Wednesdays from 6 to 6:30, we have our future movement making calls. Reach out to us on Messenger so that you can get the invite to that call to learn about what we're going to do. And also, we're going to make this available each Saturday from 11 to 11:30. So if you know parents in the school district who have the same concerns that you have, invite them to Wednesday evening, 6 to 6:30. Get in touch with our organizers, or Saturday from 11 to 11:30, because we cannot afford another school year. We're going into our third year of COVID. Did y'all realize that? March 2020 was a school year, considered a school year. 2020 school year, and now we're in 2021. This is our third year of COVID. Now, some of you guys are saying, my child is doing okay. I'm going to ask you, for how long? I don't give a damn what them Tennessee Ready scores said. You can't stop fighting or put your guard down. And if your child got an A on their report card, it's a lie. I'm sorry. Well, you say, well, Miss Sonia, I believe you because I work with them at home, and I believe you. But my question is, how do you really know? Because you know what? My daughter just graduated from Tennessee State University, magna cum laude. And she told me if it was not for her small little area of going to Martin Luther King from 7th to 9th, and I had to pull her out because she was being bullied really bad, that she really would have struggled in college. And she said it was a struggle compared to some of the people in other states, the education they got. She could see the difference. And she's brilliant. And she made A's and she got an academic scholarship. But what that told me was she still wasn't prepared. And that is not her fault, nor was it mine. We have an education system that has proven itself to fail children on every scale. And I'll be damned if I'm going to put my trust in this system. Why should any of you have faith in the system as is? Whether you have grandkids, children, whether you have nieces and nephews. We should be flooding these streets. Folk flooding these streets about not wearing a mask. And as soon as they get what they want, they're going to go back to their huts and habitats. While children are left to die in the streets. And I'm not going for it. And so, as Martin Luther King said after the Birmingham bus boycott, and as he said, after those little girls were killed in that church, we got to do what we got to do. And I ain't telling you to do nothing, but I'll go to jail. I will risk all I got for your children and mine. And I'm not saying you have to, but I be damned if I let another parent feel the way that I felt when I found out that my son was reading on a second grade reading level in the 7th grade. After I begged, after I showed up, after I was engaged, after I paid for tutoring, after I did everything I did, after the guilt and the shame, I'd be damned if another one will feel like that. And I'm sorry for going there. But nothing else matters to me. Only thing that matters to me is that your children reach their greatest potential, because when I went to Bellshire Elementary the other day and I saw them kids from my neighborhood, I saw, as my good friend Red Francesca, who's helped us to start this movement, used to say, I saw doctors, lawyers, architects, and engineers. I didn't see failure. I didn't see struggle, and I didn't see poverty. I saw greatness.
So as we get ready to close this out, this is what I love, Sonia, and I think we have some marching orders. What we heard from Tasha, Cheryl, Ivory, they ended with the issue of even kids who are quarantined, how are we teaching those kids? Kids are at home for 10 days at the beginning of the school year. And so these are some of the things that we need to address. Definitely, Tasha, we need to reach back out and talk to you. It's been a while, and we can find out what's going on in the school. And Ms. Huff, definitely want to follow up with you. I'll personally give you a call. But this is what we got to make sure. Why people are fighting about masks, let them fight. But we need to make sure our kids are getting educated, because when the smoke clears, our kids got to keep learning. Our kids got to keep moving forward, because time waits for nobody.
If your child has been on quarantine, please inbox us.
Yes.
If we don't tell our story,
yes,
someone will tell it for us. Somebody from the media just called me. I don't know what they want, but if it's pertaining to your story, I want you to tell your story. Be brave enough to tell your story, because if we don't tell it, see, right now, ain't nobody talking about how this is affecting Black parents in the media. I've just seen white parents. God bless them. I love white parents too. But I'm finna call this media. I don't know if that was Fox 17 or Fox News. It said Fox. Let me see. I don't care. I'm telling you. I don't care. They don't have to call back. I'm sick of everything right now. But you have to tell your story. So if you, I don't know what just popped up. If you don't mind telling your story, will you please inbox? Cheryl Huff said it won't be told. You're right, but we're going to tell it.
Yep.
Jarvis says, I'm with you. And Jarvis, I'm with you. I think that your problem, you're getting ready to get into our fellowship on Thursday. And I think we need to set up an organizing effort with you leading that. And those issues I saw in your comments that you have, let's get them taken care of.
All right, guys. Until next time, just FY special meeting at the school board tomorrow at 11:30. We didn't get a chance to talk about our big back to school bash, but we had a lot of fun, a lot of good pictures. Check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter to check out photos and keep posting on upcoming events. Next Monday, we have our speaker series.
The 30th. It's the 30th.
The 30th. I'm sorry, it's the last Monday.
Yeah.
And so we'll be sending out details about that. But the speaker series will be August the 30th at 6 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for not just listening, but really engaging. I promise you this helps us so much with how we move and how we operate because it's coming from real parents. And it's things that we already know and believe, but we always want to make sure it's just not what we think in a small box. It's things that are going on all across MNPS.
Yes. Call me, Shamice. I see you. Portia says she's home. Portia inbox us your number. All right, y'all. Love you guys from the bottom of my heart.